to introduce our Reverend Joanne Boruck, and she's going to tell us all about the tree of knowledge. Okay, Reverend Joanne.
Thank you, Reverend Tress. Oh, I was looking for my phone. I see you were hiding it on the podium.
Oh yeah, I stole it for a while.
Good morning, beautiful. That's a really great way to get a compliment, hey? You should say it back. Thank you for telling me. And I accept. And welcome to this glorious, glorious day in August. I have a real treat for you this morning. Well, many, I hope, but the first one is I'd like you to join me and go into that secret place of the Most High within your heart, where truth, love, and light live and move and have their being. And in this place, I invite you to join me in a meditation. It's 1 minute, 31 seconds. It'll change your life. And it was one that was sent to me from Laura Lee. Put my microphone here and hope you can hear it. That's what happens when everything's live. Nothing works.
Here we all sit, contemplating our next move.
Okay,
Something has to give. Our lives have to. The art of releasing. Releasing what no longer serves us, a phrase we've all heard. Years of negativity, fears, and guilt has made our vision blurred. Here we all sit, contemplating our next move. Something has to give. Our lives have to improve. What are we so fearful of, and what do we have to lose? So many options, yet we hesitate which road to choose. For some, it may be a relationship no longer filled with joy. Others may be hoarding items, possibly filled with memories of a childhood toy. Is it a job you once used to love that was your pride? Maybe the integrity, respect, or appreciation of working there has died. Friendships may have transitioned, and there is a feeling of loss or grief. Yes, this may be hard, but the pain will only be there as long as it is your belief. Maybe it's family you need to release, a deep-rooted belief that disturbs your peace. Fear of judgment from others is what stands in our way. Let them judge, it's not our role to stay. Think long and hard about what is good for your soul. Putting others first for once could be a new goal. Have faith in your intuition and the powers from above. Release all fears, guilt, and shame, and know that they will be replaced with unconditional love. And so it is.
And now let's take a moment in this sacred silence to remember and to send loving thoughts to all those here in mind, body, those who are here in spirit, knowing that they are loved, they are remembered, they are healed and perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Laura Lee. She's a pretty humble person who doesn't like to be in the spotlight. I was going to put anonymous, but my mind just said Laura Lee. I'm sorry. So here we are. We're at the end of the 4 agreements. And those were my first 4 talks. They were, be impeccable with your word. Don't take it personally. Don't make assumptions. And all of that transitions into always do your best. But as I was reminded, it goes on. Now there's a 5th agreement. It's a whole book. It says, be skeptical, but learn to listen. Now, Linda Wells says, you should have done 5 talks about that because she really resonated with that. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. I'm going to work backwards from there. And you're wondering, what does that have to do with the tree of knowledge? That's what I called my talk. Well, it refers to the Bible for me. In the Bible it said, don't bite the apple. The apple came from the tree of knowledge. And we've been told since the beginning that knowledge is only something of somebody else's opinion. It could be misleading. So don't get me wrong, knowledge is a really good thing, but only if it serves you, if it's your truth. Because knowledge is not truth. It's somebody's truth, but not all of it's our truth. So when we're skeptical about what we hear and we learn to listen to the intent behind the words, that's when we've mastered the 4 agreements. So skepticism, we hear that word a lot and it's inferred in a lot of things. And for me, skepticism meant something, it meant like untruth, or it meant untrustworthy. That was the word. I didn't like that word, untrustworthy. But truth is in that word, untrustworthy. So I think the second part, learn to listen, is almost as important as being skeptical. And it doesn't mean, oh, I gotta have a drink. I was talking to Carmen about these words. And isn't it ironic, my throat chakra starts acting up? I accept that, and I'm ready to let that go. So being skeptical of what you hear is something that we can all learn about trusting ourselves. Because all humans, Don Miguel Ruiz says, talk in symbols. Words are symbols. And then when I was talking to Carmen, and she was saying, yes, if you truly listen to the words, like in other languages, it's so lyrical. In Spanish, in Tibetan. I remember when I went to a Tibetan temple in Edmonton for a while, and they would get up and talk, and he would talk like this. It was just like so peaceful. Then they had this American translator that says, and don't blah, blah, blah. It lost all of its joy because we translated it. So it's important to listen behind the intent. And you know why it's important to be skeptical but learn to listen? Because one thing we all want is greater relationships. And in our relationships, we want better communication. So communication starts with listening. So here I was studying the meaning of the symbols behind the words, and bang, stopped in my tracks. I opened Facebook, and there's Joy Smith's quote at her Facebook page, and she says, I've just received certification in, what did she call it? Soul symbol healing. Sacred soul symbol healing. And so I said to her, oh my gosh, what does that mean? And so she sent me some things, and I'm going to see if I can bring them up in my pictures, that tells you what sacred soul symbols are. After I had put all the symbols in this box, that they're all words, and they're all like probably not true, but it stopped me. And while I'm looking for that picture, I want to tell you that it says in here, it goes beyond what is known or seen, and we transcend our limiting beliefs. It's a timeless language of sacred healing. It's the language of symbols. And when you know how to work with the language of symbols, there's not much that you can't heal, change, or bring into your reality. And that's exactly what the sacred soul symbols is all about. So that was one layer of the onion that I peeled off. Okay, there's sacred symbols, and what is that? Then I had to peel off that layer, and I found Reiki. If anybody's taken Reiki, you know that the symbols are energy patterns. And, even this is a sacred symbol. It's a symbol of prayer. This is a sacred symbol. There's lots of sacred symbols. In Reiki, we have a sacred symbol called the power symbol. And it translates into God is here, right now. So that's a really good symbol. So maybe that's how we're supposed to talk in expression symbols and not so much the words. Or if we make how we're speaking congruent with our words, then that's methodical symbols. And what I really came to as I was thinking about the Reiki symbols, the sacred healing symbols, the methodical and melotonic sound of word symbols, it really said to me, you know what, Joanne? If you had been skeptical but learned to listen, you would not have been stopped in your tracks. So here I am after all these years. This is my 10th year as a minister, and I'm still learning. Today, when I was writing my talk, there's 3 things. I always like to incorporate Ernest Holmes, our teacher and philosopher, Jesus, the sacred words from the Bible, and today, Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the 4 Agreements. So I was thinking of that. I think it's like I'm weaving a rope. I'm weaving a braid of rope. And I know you all know how strong one piece of rope is. You try to tie up your boat with one piece of rope, you're going to find it in the middle of the lake tomorrow. But if you take a braid of rope, if you take 3 strands and weave them together, that boat will be there in the morning. So whatever strands you find that work for you, for me, today, my 3 strands are Ernest Holmes, Jesus, and Don Miguel Ruiz. Now that first braid of truth is the one I talked about. But it goes back to Genesis where it says, let there be light, and there was light. And the second phrase in there, and the Word was light, and the Word was good, and the Word was God. But I want to go back a little farther to Adam and Eve and the tree of knowledge. I didn't know that when they said don't bite of the apple of the tree of knowledge, because then you get full of other people's truth. And once you open yourself up to knowledge, you forget that God lives inside you. And you gave your power away. Don Miguel Ruiz says, when you stop seeing the truth, everything becomes a symbol of a word. And that puts meaning behind concrete things like, that's a chair, this is a podium. And those are all concrete things. And as soon as you give it a name, like a chair, a podium, then all of a sudden you can start judging it. Well, that chair is a little farther apart than that one. Well, this podium's pretty loose. Vera's going to fix that. So it's everything has a purpose, and maybe words are not there for us to call them good or bad. They're just there to help us understand how the world is. In Jesus, in John chapter 8, verse 13, it says, Jesus said, you truly are my disciples. If you remain faithful, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth is that you are divine. In the Song of Solomon, it says, you are altogether beautiful, my darling. There's no flaw in you. Wow. I got to go back and read that. Thank you, Donna. So that was the first braid, and it goes back to ancient times. The second braid was Ernest Holmes. And when I read you what he wrote in The Science of Mind, you'll see great similarities. It was an affirmation that he wrote, and it says, I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God-conscious life, truth, and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in this word that I speak because it is of the truth, and it is the truth. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and affairs. All belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative. Right now alone has the power in right action. Power is God, the living Spirit Almighty. This Spirit animates everything I do, say, and think. Ideas come to me daily, and these ideas are divine. They direct me and sustain me. I am continually directed. I am compelled to do the right thing at the right time, to say the right word at the right time, to follow the right course of action all the time. All suggestion of race, poverty, limitation, or unhappiness is uprooted from my mind and cannot gain entrance to my thought. I live in the Spirit of truth and am conscious that the Spirit of truth lives in me. My word is a law unto all manifestation and will bring to me or cause me to be brought to its fulfillment. I know, and I know that I know. And let every thought of doubt vanish from my mind that I may know the truth, and the truth may make me free. Don Miguel Ruiz talks a little bit about that in Don't Be Skeptical. He says, but what about learn to listen? Because the truth doesn't come with words. It's silent. It's something that you know. It's silent knowledge. Silent knowledge is what you knew before you invested your faith in words, in symbols. When you opened yourself up to truth, you learned to listen, and then all those symbols, they lose value. And the only thing that remains is that there's nothing left but truth. And you don't have to justify the truth because it's your truth. The truth, like when you see a chair and you don't know what to call it, but you can sit on it. It's a chair still the same, even if you don't know what the word is. Matter, that's truth. This really is a podium, that's truth. But also life is truth, and light is truth, and love is truth. The human dream, Don Miguel calls everything we're doing, says we're living a dream based on things we were learned from the time we were born. I don't have that in here, but from the time you were born, they said, okay, by 9 months you should be toilet trained. By 2 years old you should be speaking. By 4 years old you go to school. So the whole time he calls it domestication. You've been domesticated to follow these certain rules. But now we know the truth. We have to unlearn all that crap. And thank goodness we did learn some of those things that helped us in life, because life is truth. The human dream is not really truth. That doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just means it's a different concept. So the fifth agreement also is called messenger training. I thought that was really great. Be skeptical but learn to listen is messenger training. Do you know the Greek word for messenger means angel? So this fifth agreement is angel training. We are the messengers. We are the angels. And he goes on to say there's 3 types of messengers. There's A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3, and do, re, mi. And he says A, B, C messengers, they just allow others, they just think they know what everybody else should be doing. And it should be like, A, you do this, and B, you do that, and C, you do that. And they're the people that keep you on the right course, right or wrong. It's their course. I inherited some of those. They're called sisters. So they're the ABC messengers. Then you get the 1, 2, 3 messengers. I've been there. Those 1, 2, 3 messengers, they're called warrior messengers. And they're like the naysayers. If you do that, you're going to burn yourself. Or I told you should have done that. I got some of those people in my life too. They are warriors for the truth that they think is right. So first they're the ones that want to tell you what to do. Then there's the ones that want to tell you what you've done wrong. Then there's the do, re, mi messengers. That's what we are. The do, re, mi messengers are messengers of truth, because truth is like music. Words spoken from an open heart are like music. The messenger of truth is harmonious and peaceful. Do, re, mi is the message I want to share. When music fills my head, it replaces anything that is distortious. So right now I want to tell you, I'm sharing my way, the way I see the world, my dream. And the stories are true for me, but I know they're not true for you, because I want you to be skeptical and learn to listen. Whatever I tell you is just my point of view. I'll do my best to use words that are impeccable. But I know the minute you leave, you're going to decide what's true and what's not true. Because you know what? I'm only half the message. I'm the messenger, but you're the receiver. And I can only be responsible for what I say. I can't be responsible for what you understand. You're the other half. And you give meaning to every word you hear. So I just ask you, filter that through your heart. Is that true for me? Is that true? And I say that because Don Miguel Ruiz, when he's talking about domestication, how we're first born, everybody had an individual mind. And so then we started living in this dream state that our parents said, and our teachers said, and our siblings said. And so we started living this dream. And he says this dream is like your own personal movie. Now, have you ever done one of those meditations where you go to the movies and you're the star? I want you to join me right now. And let's close our eyes. And imagine that you've stood up and you walked outside this building, and right next door there's a movie theater. Not the normal ones with the lights and the noise, but those ornate ones from the 50s or the 40s that have red velvet chairs and a big black curtain. And as you walk in, there's your name. Right above the door in the billboard, now showing. Mine says Joanne. But in yours it says now showing, and your name's there. So you walk into this theater, and it's quite dark, and there's somebody in front of you, and you realize it's your higher self, and you sit behind them, and the curtain opens, and there on the screen are the previews, just like you went to a regular movie. But the previews are 3 portions of your life. There is a preview of you with your family, and maybe you can imagine a dinner or a gathering, and all your family's there. And that fades to black. And the next one is you at a social event with all your friends. Maybe you can bring to mind a fire you were around, or a time you're at the bar with Tress and Russell. And think about all the people around there. And that preview's over. And the last one is you at work. Whether you're working at home, you're still working, you're retired and working with people. And just bring to mind how that experience is. In all 3 of those previews, you were the main character. I'm going to circle back. When I look at me with my family, I think, they don't understand me. And I think about we as my social friends, and I think, wow, everybody's talking so much and nobody's listening. And then I go to that 3rd movie at work. I so feel unappreciated, or there's so much work to do, or I love the people I work with. Once all those previews have come up, you realize the curtain goes across and the main show is going to start. So the black curtains open again, and it says, now presenting Joanne and her family. And that screen gets bigger, and now I can see that whole scenery that I've created that time with my family. But guess what? It's not at all what I thought. Because now I see that, my sisters are really not even talking to me. They're talking to somebody else saying, did you see so-and-so? Or, I didn't like those potatoes. In my mind, I thought it was all about me. No, they're all living their life. It's not about me. Everybody is an actor in their own movie. And so take a moment, look around, and see all those different people and how they related to that same experience. And one thing I can tell you is that when you talk to your siblings about your relationship with your parents, every one of you had a different experience because it was based on your truth. And the same when that curtain closes and the next scene opens and it's you big as life in that scene where you're all at a party and you're thinking it's really loud. And when you learn to listen, you see so much joy. You can hear somebody talking about their new relationship, their new grandchildren, their new job. When it's not about you, there's so much joy happening around you. Just imagine now you can look at people in a different way. You've learned to listen. You've lost your skepticalism. And the curtain closes again and the next one opens and it's your work environment. And holy smokes, again, it's not anything like you thought when you were the main actor in that movie. When you're the co-star, everything happens around you and you become part of it all. The good, the bad, the people you love, the people you don't. And just look at that from that place. And as the final curtain closes, sit and reflect on your experience through the eyes of another. And when you're ready, you can stand up and walk out into the beautiful sunny day and come back next door and sit in your chair right here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Red Deer. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Do you know that that's awareness? That's awareness that your life experience is based on you, on nobody else, and it's not the truth. It was just the truth at that time, in that moment, because everything was spoken symbols rather than truth. So no wonder we get confused when we give meaning to words, like being impeccable with your word, because your word is just a symbol of who you are. You created your dream based on the words that you heard. So whatever you do with your words, it's up to my words, it's up to you. It's your dream. And I respect your dream. You don't have to believe me. I expect you to be skeptical. That's how we remove doubt. Doubt is lack of faith. And if you have faith in yourself, then it's okay to be skeptical, remove doubt. Because really, the only person you can have total faith in is you. And make your own dream and make it work for you. So be skeptical, but don't believe me and don't believe everybody else. The only person you can believe is yourself. And I don't mean to shock you, because I mean don't believe everything you've learned, because of most of what you learned is not truth. Most of what you learned is nothing but symbols. It's just a bunch of symbols in your head. He calls it the Methode mind. Reverend Tress calls it the monkey mind. They're just a bunch of symbols. And I know you're old enough to know you don't have to believe everything you hear. When I think about believing everything you hear, I was thinking about in a mirror. That's kind of what it's like when somebody tells you something. Imagine you're looking in the mirror, and isn't it funny when you look in the mirror, everything's backwards, your left is your right, and your right's your left? And then the other thing is, if you've got something on your face, a piece of pie on your face, and you put your hand in the mirror, you can't wipe it off because that's your reflection. You can only wipe it off when you're true to who you are. So as we leave here today, I make it my intention that each of you find your truth and see the world through the eyes of love and light. And I want you to know it's okay to be skeptical, to doubt what others say because it comes from their dream, their story. But learn to listen because there is wisdom in what others say. You're the other half of every conversation. And I want you to take that for everything I say. Take what you want, let go of the rest. Whew, that's a big job for me. I've been working on it for a while. Maybe my whole life I'll be working on it. But I'd like to close with a drumming song. I talked a lot about giving your power away. If you're skeptical and learn to listen, you call your power back. So this song is called the Power Song. And if you know it, I invite you to join me. When I was younger, oh, they told me I was wrong to be strong, loud, wrong to be strong, but now I'm older. Stand if you want, and I tell them that I've been giving away my power for too long, and I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back, 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 because it's mine, mine. When I was younger, oh, they told me I was wrong to be strong. Wrong to be strong, but now I'm older. And I tell them that I've been giving away my power for too long. And I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back, 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 because it's mine, mine. Thank you. Feel free today to share your dream with others and with me. And as we are skeptical, we learn to listen. I'm putting faith in myself. And I'm not taking it personally, but I love every one of you. I am Reverend Joanne Faith. Got to put my drum down so I can tell you I'm also peace, and I am love. And I wish you an amazing, amazing week. Thank you. And now I invite